Good morning, everybody. Jan of Hicks Creates here, coming at you with Flosstube 97. I actually wrote it down this time, and it's right there so I can look and remind myself. Hard to believe, almost 100. Thank you for being here. Whether you're new or whether you have stuck with me through all of the insanity, I appreciate you being here. I hope you are all doing well. It is Tuesday, April 14th, almost 11 a.m. here in Hawaii. We are doing well. We are starting week 5 of our self-isolation. That's what we're calling it, right? Doing well for the most part, can't complain. We did run out briefly on Sunday to pick up some pet food, curbside pickup at PetSmart for the win. And it isn't really like even curbside pickup. You pull up, you call them, you pop open the trunk and they bring it out after checking that you are who you say you are. So that was easy. And then over to Ruby Tuesdays, we got our Easter dinner from Ruby Tuesdays, like I had mentioned. Again, curbside pickup worked really well. So yeah, all is good. The boys are good. Mike's parents got moved, and so far so good with them. You know, we have kind of this delay of a number of days to make sure that all is good, but they are moved in, they are slowly unpacking. Maybe they've even found the salt by now. I was telling the ladies on the Zoom video last week that you know, they're getting the foods delivered in this facility that they're in now. You know, they have a communal cafeteria, but of course they're delivering meals instead of having people come to the cafeteria. But of course, because of all the people that are there with heart-related conditions, there's no seasoning in the food at all. So they were searching desperately for their salt and couldn't find it the first day. So hopefully they've found the salt by now. So yeah. All is good. Mike's haircut, I ended up giving him his haircut, and it turned out pretty darn well, considering neither of us really had a clue other than what we learned on YouTube. So, yeah, things are good. I hope things are good with you. Keep persevering, you know? Things are brighter ahead. We'll get through this. In the meantime, there is a lot of stitching going on. I wanted to share with you, if you're on my Facebook group and haven't looked at it yet in a few days, or if you're not there and would like to join me, we'd love to have you. Michelle Lawson, she lives in upstate New York. She is ADK Stitcher on Instagram. You may know her on there. She is making she's crocheting those extenders for the masks, you know, for the healthcare workers that are getting these homemade masks and they're a little loose. There's this like little crochet piece with 2 buttons on the end that they can loop that elastic over and it'll tighten that right up. She needs buttons. So if you want to help her out, she needs 1 inch to 1.5 inches. I think she's making 100 of these, or she needs 100 buttons. I forget which thing that number goes with. So she's looking for people to send her some buttons. So if you have some and would like to donate to a worthy cause, join us on my Facebook group, Jan Hicks Creates Stunning Cross Stitch Designs. Find that post, message Michelle. She will give you her address and you can send her you know, whatever you might have. She has a picture there of what she's doing as well, if you're not quite sure from my description, or, you know, just want to see what it is, in case you want to do some yourself too. So yeah, lots of stitching going on. Lots of TV watching going on. Caught up on Westworld, caught up on Outlander, watched The Widow, watched Tales from the Loop, currently on Salvation. Now you get an idea of the type of shows we like. So yeah, hanging out, being peaceful, enjoying each other's company, and lots of stitching. And Mike should be doing his first podcast today. He's pretty much all set up for that testing out his microphone this morning. Lots of test, 1, 2, 3s going on. So if you're interested in hearing him read his books, I believe he is starting with First Contact. I'll put a link for that below, and, you know, once he has it uploaded, I'll put a link for that below, and, you know, I'll put a link in the various and sundry other places where I live online, so you can join him if that's something you're interested in. Again, science fiction, fantasy. The First Contact series is more of a wide-ranging space opera type of thing. It has a lot in it, a lot of different elements, a lot of different elements that aren't just science fiction. You know, there's some romance, there's a lot of battle scenes, strategy, friendships. He's a good writer. And yes, I'm biased, but if you want to check them out, Michael R. Hicks on Amazon, you'll see all the ratings. He's a good writer. Anyways, stitching. I finished something. As somebody said on, who was it that said on Instagram? Oh, it was Miriam in Brazil, Argentina? I think it's Brazil. See, I do finish things. Jane Marshall, 1857. My own color choices. Absolutely thrilled with it. I think I'm going to finish this in basically the same way as I finished Dorothy Allen, and I still haven't done this. You know, do that hem stitch thing. You know, I mentioned I wanted to do a video showing me doing that, and yeah, haven't yet. But anyways, I want to finish this basically the same way, and these will probably hang somewhere together in our new home in San Antonio, whenever that happens to be. So, Mrs. Seda Silk, Missussedas is how you spell that name. She is closed. She is in Spain. Spain is still on a pretty tight quarantine shutdown. Their numbers, thank heavens, are really coming down. But, you know, it's too early to open yet. So she's still closed. She's doing well. She posted on Instagram, doing a little stitching. She's having a hard time just feeling it. And I can certainly relate. Not that I'm having a hard time stitching, but, you know, the tension and uncertainty. I guess her husband does work in some sort of healthcare industries, so I'm sure there's a lot of worry there. But anyway, I have this color conversion posted on my website, madforyarn.com. I do have a page with all of my color conversions, so you can check that out there. I did put my, where is it? Nope, where'd it go? My signature, oh, it's so faint I couldn't even see it. Right there, just in back stitch, JMH 2020. I don't often remember to sign things, and I'm trying to do better about that. So, the Jane Marshall part is a little bit faint with that color floss, but that's okay. It doesn't bother me. I am happy with it. So, another finish. I think I counted on, in my X-Stitch app. Now, of course, no, I didn't. I had to go into my photos in Amazon. I have Amazon Photos where all of my photos get backed up in the cloud there because it's unlimited for Amazon Prime. I had to go in there and see how many finishes I have done for the year so far, because so many of my finishes are my own designs, and of course I'm not in the X-Stitch app to be able to like input my own patterns. I have 19 finishes so far this year. See, I do finish things. Anyways, I've been spending, like I've mentioned, a chunk of time still on Time for Seasons by the Bay Needle Arts. Their stitch along. So I have a good chunk of autumn done, of the second part of autumn done. I'll show the picture of the whole thing first. I do have pieces to fill in. These little pieces in here are red flowers on the bushes. I have some sheep to put in here. Still have this cloud to do. Where's the cloud? Right there. Oh, still have the rest of that corner piece to do too. But we are making good progress. You know, it is nice. I totally, with these big chunks of color, I do the outline around everything, and then I can just sit and fill it in as we're watching TV and don't have to look at the pattern. Love it. Now, if you look over here, you can see there's this light green here, and then this other shade of green just started here. I've decided that's going to have to come out. I have to find a different green. And let me show you the picture and show you why. So, that light green is this kind of yellowish green here. Whoops. No, Siri, I'm sorry. So that kind of yellowish green is what I chose the light green for that. So the next green where the fence is and that tree, you can see it's a much darker, still a nice green, but a much darker green. And there's definitely not enough contrast in the green that I chose. So I went to my stash, and all I can say is thank heavens for Victorian motto. So I'm going to change that out to this green. This is Southern Mint from Victorian motto. So again, this little piece right in here will get changed for this. And so this strand I'm holding here is from this part I put in, and you can see there's quite a bit of difference. So I think that'll look better. Have more contrast, which it definitely needs after all that pale green stitching. I'm looking around to figure out where to put this, which seems to be like every week. You'd think I'd have a plan by Flosstube 97, right? I did spend a little bit of time on Shades of Gold. I stitched on this in our Zoom chat. And so, yeah, there wasn't as much stitching as I kind of hoped there would be, but that's okay. So I just worked on, I can see how floppy this fabric is after all this time. Where did I work? Worked on this outline of this block here, coming down here. That pattern continues up here and then continues down here. I have to add in this corner piece. Oh, for heaven's sakes. There's another, see this here? I have to add that down at the bottom here before I can then continue that border around. So anyways, just every once in a while I'll pick this up just to kind of, I don't know, not like I need to help remembering it's there, but just to keep touching it so that come May 1st, Shades of Gold will get done in May. More on that later. And then we also had Startapalooza on Easter, which was also our anniversary, 18 years. This is Beachcomber by Carolyn Manning Design. So she put out this series of Shooting Star colorways, her new collection Shooting Star. So the first one was the one with all the colors, the rainbow. Here is my start on that. I worked on this on and off all day on Sunday. I got over almost 1,100 stitches in. So fun. And so Beachcomber, I actually started this the night before on Saturday night because I couldn't wait any longer. And I've been picking this up a little bit in the morning every day since to add an hour's worth of stitches in. An hour for me, I think I got like 170 stitches in this morning. So that's a nice little chunk. You know, the neat thing about these, I've mentioned before, these are so neat having these nice little succinct patches of color. Easy stitching, but yet it's really fun stitching because you get to see how the colors play together. You know, it's like, okay, I've worked on that color for a while, and now oops, sorry, these two diamonds are the same and these two diamonds are the same. So like I'll get stuff filled in around, and then I did those two together. And so I did those two and I did that one. And it's like, okay, so let me switch to another color. What other color can I add? What's it going to do to it? So adding, you know, as you start adding the different colors, seeing how the colors play with each other, it's just an awesome, awesome pattern. Love it. Now, like I said, I am doing this on 25 count over one strand of DMC. This was the first one with all the colors, and of course I fell instantly in love with all the colors. And I'm sure this will call to me more as I get more, you know, greens and blues added in, since that is, you know, my colors. But this one, this is the one that just sings to me. And those nice, neat little stitches all laying together. I just love it. Love over one, love full coverage. I know. Okay, so I firmed up my plans for Stitch Mania. I had mentioned last week that Shades of Gold is first on the list to hopefully get done. Now I do have probably about half of it still to do. So I may be thinking a little bit ambitiously, but what's new, right? When I get that done, and again, monogamous mania, right? Monogamania, get things done. When I get that done, I'm going to turn to Grace Quaker Sampler. As you can see, this is almost, I mean, I have a lot of this done. This is stitched. This is a more true color representation. When I get too close, it kind of washes out a bit. This is Grace Quaker Sampler, again by Sampler Cove, stitched on 40 count Ash Rose linen by XG Design, and I am using a variety of Victorian Motto threads. The grays are from one of her, I think, her Bewitching Gray pack. And the thing that looks like a white is actually a very pale gray as well. And then the red, I forget which red I'm using. So again, a lot done. The letters are over one, so over one on 40 count is a bit of a challenge. But, you know, good light, they're doable. So, gotta get that done. So that will be next on my list after I get Shades of Gold done. And then if I happen to get both of those done, I am going to turn to Pretty Little India and get Pretty Little India done. Again, a good chunk of this is done. There's a lot more stitching on these than we realize. But this is 36 count, just a white linen, 36 count, so I'm stitching over two with one strand of DMC and the called for DMC. But Pretty Little India definitely needs some love too. So that's my Stitch Mania plans. Now, with the caveat, I still have Bloomtopia to do. The next release of Bloomtopia comes out tomorrow. I think we are on 6, and we still have 6 more. But those, of course, are just those tiny little things, so I'm not worried about staying caught up with that in the midst of these. And then the new Fat Quarter Shop one, Feels Like Home. I had to think a minute, yeah. That starts May 1st. So, and that is their Mania mystery stitch along. Again, I will have the links to all of that in my description box below. The I haven't thought ahead to pull out to show you that. I showed it last week. I will have the links. You can click through to Fat Quarter Shop and check out what that looks like. So I will be working on those along with that, but I think those are all, I mean, like I said, Bloomtopia is small. Fat Quarter Shop is going to be fairly small. They have 5 releases, I think 1 a week over the course of May and into June. So I'm hoping those will be fairly small. So I'll still be able to hopefully spend a good amount of time on my concentration pieces for Stitch Mania. So that is my plan. Not starting anything new. Carolyn Zook, if you guys do not follow C Zook Stitch, you need to get over to her channel and sign up and make sure you follow her for Mania. She's planning a new start every Sunday, 5 Sundays in May, as I found out. And she has some great things planned, so be sure and check her out. No goodies came in the mail as far as stitching goodies are concerned. I did get a lovely card from my friend Michelle, Maine Moose Mom Stitcher. And it is hilarious because, you know, I talk about these cats and how demanding they are and what butts they can be when it comes to their food. Yeah, whatever. Now open the effing can already. That is Sasha to a T. Except Nina's the one that wears the tiara in this house. So, she isn't quite as demanding, but she has her ways of telling us. Thank you, Michelle. It did put a smile on my face. The other thing we got, and I wanted you to tell me what good stuff happened to you this week. So the good stuff that happened to me was, it was our anniversary, like I said, 18 wonderful years. And we got a really fancy bidet. Bidet number 2 in our lives. And it came in this really cool bag. So I kept the bag. It's a cotton muslin bag. And it's almost like a backpack type of bag. But it's huge. It'll be great for scroll rods. So I said to Mike, do not throw that bag out. That's mine. I did order from 123 Stitch. I ordered the supplies for Balmy Spring. Carolyn and I are going to be starting that on June 1st. That will be a celebration of all of my finishes in May. Balmy Spring is Heaven and Earth Designs. It's actually Balmy Spring Day is the name of it. So I placed an order from 123 Stitch for that. I also placed an order from Fat Quarter Shop for some threads for my summer flourish design, which I am working on. It took a while to be shipped, so this is kind of a public service announcement. Don't get impatient. They are, I'm sure, swamped and working with a cutback staff, but they are working, they are shipping. I ordered from 123 Stitch. I placed my order on April 6th, and I just got the shipping notice this morning. So it's taking a lot longer than usual, but that's okay. I mean, we all have stuff, other stuff we can work on, right? So yeah, just public service announcement. I think that's about it for today. I am continuing to work on my 3D design idea. I love that there are so many of you that are excited about that. There's some things that have to get my brain around yet. It's going to be a while. I haven't been working on the Summer Flourish one until I get these flosses in, because I'm not sure what colors I want to do what in. But those should be here relatively soon. So I'll be continuing to work on that and continuing to work on the 3D one. But it's going to be a while for the 3D one, because then I'll stitch it up and I'll take pictures of everything and I'll videotape the whole process, and then I have to source like the additional stuff to add to it. So wheels are turning. You guys have given me a lot of great input. I am probably not going to go the route of burning. I don't want to offer that as the way to do it. There certainly, if you guys who mentioned it want to do that on yours, if you do the pattern, then I will love it and I will love to see the outcome. But I don't want to put that in a pattern as a thing to do, because if it goes badly wrong, I don't want to have people yelling at me. So yeah, I think that's where we are today on this lovely Tuesday. I hope you are doing well. Make sure I covered everything in my notes. I did. So now you know what it's time for. It's time for our pretty angel, Teresa Kogut's angel cards. And this one says, nobody's life is perfect. And again, the appropriateness of these cards every week just blows me away. Nobody's life is perfect. Mike's laughing at me. When you're going through tough times, excuse me, when you're going through tough times, keep on going. It's brighter ahead. What did I say? Perfect. It's brighter ahead, folks. It's tough. Tough decisions. Somebody on the Barbara's video, oh, I don't think I mentioned that. Maybe I did. Just Keep Stitching. Go to the Just Keep Stitching channel to see Barbara's video on StitchCon. Somebody commented that 2020 is going to be remembered as the time of hard decisions. And certainly all of these businesses that are dealing with this, close, stay open, how do you still service your customers? How do you stay in business some way during this tough time? So many hard decisions being made out there. Brighter times are ahead. As I've said before, we're going to come out of this different. I believe we're going to come out of this better. This is definitely a burnishing process, if you will. But we've got this. Tell me a good thing that happened to you this past week. Or whenever you watch this, you know, in the past week since you watched it, whenever. Tell me one good thing that happened. I want to hear your good things. My good thing is our 18th anniversary. And that man sitting downstairs who laughs at me. He also takes very good care of me, and I appreciate him so much. And I appreciate you guys. You take care, and I will see you on Friday for my Stitch With Me. Talk to you soon.